Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Elias and welcome back to Stoneblock 3. In the last episode, we were working on a bunch of things. We've been very busy the last few episodes. Last time we were focusing on getting some automation going and basically improving our infrastructure, and we're going to continue doing that a little bit today. I also want to try to finish up the quest book chapter on create, because why not? And yeah, so I've been busy between episodes. I have not hooked up all of the crops yet. That is still something to do, but I've made a lot of changes. As you can see, things are a lot nicer looking. I've cleaned up a lot of the area. We're going to put a torch right there, just to make sure things are nice and bright. I've rearranged and resorted a little bit of our inventory. Made some changes. Put diamonds and copper here so that we can make these upgrades really easily. So diamond upgrades require diamond blocks and gold blocks and copper blocks, so it'd be a lot easier to get that. And just been working on a bunch of things. Also working on storage back here. I don't know how much stuff we're going to actually automate, but I do have a different system of getting everything into the storage controller, and that is with Mekanism pipes. We have a diamond barrel that is currently full of stuff. I turned this off for a little bit, and we should be able to just quite literally put something here, and it's going to start pulling items out. Perfect. It is going to be very slow, but it is going to put items in here, and it shouldn't put items that are, if a drawer is full and doesn't have a void upgrade, it should stay in here. And if something can't go in here in general, it will stay in here. So that is exactly what we want. We're going to get a trap door for this, and we'll probably upgrade this pipe eventually. If you didn't know, Mekanism pipes can be upgraded by using the various tiers of alloys, and they go faster, pump more items per second type of thing, and in general are just better. So that is something that we can easily do later. So yeah, I want to put a trapdoor here. I will get that after a bit. Actually, you know what, let's just go ahead and do that right now. So oak, we need a little bit more wood, and we should be able to make a trapdoor very easily. And this is just to make things look a little bit nicer. I can still see it, but I can walk over it. I don't have to worry about falling in. So storage is a lot better. I still have some work to do, and because we're using Mekanism pipes, we can bring more items. So if I want this area, I haven't decided what I'm going to have different areas be. What I might do, actually, now that I think of it, this might be a cobbleworks. I might make up a pretty basic cobbleworks just so that we can get gravel, sand, dirt. Dust isn't particularly useful. That is something... Dust is not useful, so we do not need dust, but glass, we can get automatic glass, all that kind of stuff fairly easily with just a basic cobbleworks. If you don't know cobbleworks, basically these are cobbleworks. We'll just have a system where it takes these guys, the cobblestone generators, and the auto hammers, and makes what we need. So that will probably be what we'll put there. And then I'll put all the crops somewhere else. We'll run pipes underground just to kind of make sure things are a little bit nice looking, and that will work pretty nicely. So that just means two things. I need to make sure that these guys do not have void upgrades. We do not want void upgrades on any of them like these. Same with this. I might have to switch this around with flint. I don't know. So that's something I'll have to figure out. I might have to move the flint down here and switch it with the dust, just because I want these drawers to fill up, and we'll just have a system for if they do fill up, then the cobbleworks will not push the items. It'll work fine. But that'll be something I'll do kind of a little bit off camera and kind of on my own. So I have cleared out this storage disk. Every item is in here that can go in there. And we still have all these chests that are laying around. And this is my like working chest right now. A bunch of things to kind of do. We still need to figure out what we're going to do about getting obsidian, which will go down here. By the way, I picked up this Instone, and apparently that was enough to get the exploration quest. So let's go ahead and solve that. Hey, we got a globe. Globes are cool. Let's put the globe down. You can spin the globes. They're kind of neat. They tell you the coordinates. So we did all that. The other thing we've been working on, I also put another diamond barrel over there. That's where all of our enchanted books are going to end up. I want to do a little bit of enchanting today, but we'll get to that soon enough. So I have a bunch of this stuff kind of sorted out, and you might notice I removed all of the cabling. That's because I now know how to fix all of my problems. So we're going to put a crafter here, and I made crafts for sand. This is temporary. We're going to put a crusher right here, and that is how we're going to get items. So we're going to want input in the back, and in the bottom we're going to put output, and that's the way all of these are going to be for the most part. And you'll see why soon enough. So input, output, perfect. Now these are going to be slightly different, and if we need, so we have the energized smelter, if we need more smelting space, which we probably will, we can break this and put another crafter on top, and it'll work just fine. I've left gaps for 2 more metallurgic infusers, which we don't currently need. Input extra is there, and now at the bottom is output. And we're going to do the same thing with this. So input in the back, extra on the top, output on the bottom. Because for these guys, we are going to use exporters. So let's get an exporter set up for this. We had that last time, and we're going to continue working with that. So what are we going to do about this system? Well, let's see. What I want is we're going to need power and item extraction out the bottom. And to do that, we are going to use pipes. So pipes is going to be the solution. Of course, I didn't keep things. I was looking up stuff trying to get ideas of things that we want to use. But we're going to use the universal pipes. Oh, it is right here. The regulator upgrade. Okay. So the regulator upgrade was something we talked about last time about making obsidian, but allowing our system to have some magma blocks in the system. I've decided we don't need magma blocks. We're not going to worry about that because it doesn't work quite like I wanted it to, and so it's not as useful as I thought it was going to be. But we are going to make some universal pipes. These are relatively easy. We do need to make some energy pipes though. And we're going to make universal pipes. 12 should be enough for right now. And how this is going to work, I got to remember how pipes work. They extract. All right, so this is going to be the problem. We're going to put pipes down, and then we're going to get our pipe wrench, and this is going to be very annoying. We're just going to want to do something like this. So we're going to just do something like this. And I think, yeah, we can do items and energy. Items, we're going to put an upgrade. And we can just have it take items out, presumably. So we're going to do this on both sides. And do we need... Do we need anything for power, energy? We might need an upgrade for that. I don't actually know. I don't know. I've never used pipes for anything but the like normal basic pipe upgrades. We could probably just use basics. I don't know what the difference is, to be perfectly honest. So I've never really used pipes for anything other than items. I've got a system on a different mod pack that I've played on my own that basically will take items. I pump items from my refined storage system into a chest, and they're all the non-stackables, and it sorts them, which is really, really useful. It's really kind of cool. But yeah, I've never used energy pipes, so that is something that I don't know if it works. So we have main power. And energy. Not sure. So always off, ignore. Okay, so I don't know why this has power, but this doesn't. Let's see, that has power. Let's just see if we can get these to work. And I might have to do some testing. So I wonder if that's not good. So I don't know that we can. Okay, here's a test. No, that still won't work. Basically, I think because these have... This is going to use up the power as well. Because it's got a pipe upgrade, because it's transferring, it can't accept power at the same time. Which seems really limiting. Let's see if we have any more item pipes. Let's take an energy pipe, and I wonder... Will these attach to each other? Will universal and... No, they do not. That was also unfortunate. Sometimes having things with a high efficiency is awful. So this doesn't work quite like I hoped it would. Though maybe it will. So let's just see if we can get this to work. So what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna want to grab. Let's tell the system to make enriched redstone and see what happens. So presumably, what will happen is that it. Seriously. The bees are kind of annoying because they do break blocks. So that made things, but it has nowhere to go. And that's why we're going to put an interface right here, and that should connect. And that should mean if we put an upgrade in this, it extracted it, it should go into the system. We should have an enriched redstone in here. And we do. Perfect. Let's also make an enriched carbon. And then what we're going to want is crafting upgrades. And this is something that we're going to want to have auto-crafted, because we're going to need quite a few of them. And let's just go ahead and grab all that junk. We can just dump this in here. I will not worry about it for right now. But what we can do with this is we can, at the very least, we can start setting things up. So that exports these guys. And yeah, they're not getting power. Oh man. I really, really, really wish that that worked the way I thought it was. I'll have to look into that. So, basically, the idea, let's go ahead and get some more patterns. And here is the cool thing. One, I think I made a tier installer, which is good. Let's get some patterns. Let's get like 10 of these, and you can see we can craft sand now. And that is because this machine is going to work. And we can go ahead and upgrade it. Auto sort. It will split things. It'll make sand from gravel if it doesn't have... I mean, we can also just throw these in there and it'll be fine. So that is going to work pretty well. But it's not going to get extracted. And so let's do that. And then it's going to run out of power. Oh, man. Alright. So I'm going to make these patterns. I'm going to get these patterns going. And everything should be okay with that. But I'm going to have to see if I can't fix this so that it actually does provide power as well. And I'll tell you guys what, I will bring you guys back in once I'm ready to do a little bit more and see if there's a solution to this that I can figure out. But after that, before we do that actually, let's do one more thing. I want to make some bookshelves. So we're going to get some leather. We're going to get some paper. It's not how you spell paper. And we're going to get 2 more bookshelves. So that we can get a level 30 enchant, potentially, and then that will hopefully allow us to get a good enchant on our vile sword. That is the whole hope, so that I can start farming blazes. It is in here, so that I can start farming blazes and getting more souls. It's also not fully upgraded, so we'll have to get another bookshelf. Which we can actually do that. Let's go ahead and do that and see what we get on a level 30 enchant. We have another Wild and Wing, which is just leather. That's all I care about right now with that. So we can make a book and another bookshelf. And that should give us 30 levels. Eventually we'll bring an anvil over here as well. So it says Unbreaking 3, which is not the worst of enchants. Unbreaking is always good to have. Let's grab some lapis. And yeah, I'm going to figure out if I can do anything with those things. Let's see. Smite, knockback. Nope. We're gonna grindstone that. Get some of our experience back, and we'll see what we can get later. So I'm gonna see if I can't figure out this problem, and I'll bring you guys back in once I have something. So the pipes will not work. Universal pipes are really useful. They transfer everything, gases, items, fluids, energy. However, you cannot extract and insert on the same thing. So we need to have the universal pipes touching 2 sides to make that work. So we're gonna have to scrap that plan, and we're gonna use something different. We're gonna use XNet. And I will warn you, I have never used XNet before in my life. I've seen this mod a lot, and it's a very popular mod. It's very useful if you can figure it out. I've never figured it out. I've never tried to figure it out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make some connectors, and I'm probably gonna do most of this off camera, but man, this is a little expensive on the crafting side. But let's just go ahead and make a little bit of stuff. I don't know if we need only connectors for this, but we're gonna make 2 connectors real quick. I know we're going to need a controller, which requires a machine frame, which requires more blue dye, which is not an issue, just kind of annoying. So we'll get the machine frame, and we'll get this. So we need a comparator. And we're also going to need repeaters. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 I think should be enough. So we'll get the comparator. And then the repeaters. And then we need more stone. And we should be able to make the controller. Perfect. Okay, so my understanding of this is... how bad is it to make... You know, the thing that's kind of holding me back is the blue dye. So let's just make a stack of blue dye and call it a day. And we'll get 8. 8 might be close to enough. So I believe how this works is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. In the controller. And then we can write what these are. And I'm gonna just come down here. So this is the controller slash crusher. It's not how you spell crusher. And there is a manual, so we can kind of work with things. But basically, we can have a channel. And we're gonna do energy. And I guess we're gonna have this be what is this, a point or a plug? Point. So let's just get this. And basically we can use different channels. I don't understand it all that well, but we want the channel to be... I don't know. I do not know how this works. So let's remove this channel. Alright. So we're going to say create an energy channel. We're going to call this energy. And we're going to have input. And then let's see if we can get the smelter to have some power go to it. That block is now highlighted. Okay. I don't know how this works. I'll be very honest. And then we also need energy. Insert, extract. Will that work? Anyways, I'm gonna figure this out. This is something that I'm gonna do, and I figured let's go ahead and work on some other stuff while I've learned that. So the idea, we might come back to this in a little bit, but let's go ahead and make a couple of things from Create, just because we can. One of the big things that we're gonna want to get quite a bit of is some iron plates. So we're gonna need what? At least a bunch. Let's see what all we have in here. There is, okay, so we have an iron rod there. We have empty spools. So we're gonna want to make a handful of items from Create, just because they are quests. And it's some of the stuff we will end up using, some of it we will not. For example, the blaze burner is something that we absolutely will be using, because we're going to need to use it for, there is a couple recipes that we'll need the heat source for, and I don't remember, we also need blaze cakes for ultimate stews apparently. But yeah, mixing certain items, the only way we can do that is with, yeah, this one is to get a focus of summoning, I guess. We'll need to heat things up and getting warm silver, fish blood, or shards. There's reasons to have the blaze thing, so we might as well start making some of this stuff. The alternator, we're gonna need copper spools. Let's go ahead and just get like maybe 16 iron will get smashed into sheets. Some of this stuff we'll probably never end up using, but hey, it's something. So if we want to make these spools, we're going to need copper wire, which requires copper sheets. We're going to need 3, so it's 2 each, so it's 6 copper. We're going to need a capacitor, so we're going to need another copper, so let's do like 8 copper. If we have a little bit extra copper, that's fine. And then what was that other thing that I saw? Zinc. We're going to need some zinc. Let's go ahead and just do like 4. And we'll want our rolling mill. The only thing with this is, I don't know, nope. Too much stress. Can we put it here? We can. Perfect. So let's put the copper down here for a second. And there is a couple things that is nice. So one thing that we're going to need eventually, oh, interesting, is, oh man, there is a lot of things. These electron tubes and the rose quartz, the polished rose quartz. We can actually make that with the enrichment chamber. So rose quartz we can make in a metallurgic infuser with just a little bit of redstone. And then the polished we can make using an enrichment chamber. So that's what we're going to end up doing. And so let's go ahead and get the copper wires. All right, you just throw it on there. I forgot. It's been a little bit. So we're going to need 2 each. So it's going to be all 6. So we'll let that work. I'm going to figure out XNet and we'll get that taken care of. So basically there is some stuff here that is going to be a pain to make and some stuff that's going to be pretty easy. Like this, we can get that pretty simply. We just need to grab brass, which we have a little bit of, and we're going to need a log, which we have plenty of. Put that down, strip it, make a brass casing, and then a redstone torch is easy enough to get. And that gives us the redstone link, which I can imagine what it does, but we'll ponder it just to show. And it is exactly what I thought. Wireless redstone. So that is one of the quests. Pretty easy. We'll get a diamond impact hammer. Mine's a 3x3x3. That is nice. I'm going to put that in there. So yeah, we have a good bit of stuff to do. In terms of, like, we have some things that we can craft pretty easily. We have some things that are going to be a little bit more challenging. We're going to need 3 spools. There is the copper spools. So the recipe for the alternator, which, by the way, this is pretty simple as well. It takes rotational power and turns it into RF, or FE, or whatever it's called these days. I have no idea, I'll be honest. No, I wanted to... Sometimes inventories are weird. So if we want to make that in the 3x3, we put 1, 2, 3. Alright, we need to have a lever. I forgot about that. Or a button or something. Iron sheets go how? Alright, like so. And then the iron rod in the middle. And then we are going to need... What is it? The capacitor. So copper sheet, a zinc sheet, and then we're going to need a redstone a redstone torch, and an andesite alloy. And that is pretty easy. So let's get this, and then I will tell you guys what. I'm going to step away for a second. I'm going to figure out what we can do about the, it is an andesite, yes. And then do we have buttons? We do. That should work. I think we can just put it, that is how you do mechanical crafting, right? It's been a little bit since we've done this. Using a wrench, converge to one side, acquire yep. Right click. Yep, redstone pulse. That's what I thought. All right, so this goes here. This goes up here. And if we can just do this, perfect. So that will craft up, and it should be pretty quick. We have decent RPMs back here. There are 3 things, so that's fine. And honestly, I'm gonna leave this here because why not? And so at this point, that is the alternator. We can also make an experience obelisk. I don't know that we have. And it goes in there. I don't know if we have any obsidian right now. If we do, I don't think we do. Let's see, obsidian, no. So I do know that we have some magma blocks. But one other thing I wanted to go ahead and make is an experience obelisk. Basically, is that what it's called? Yes, experience obelisk. Basically, it stores experience for us. That's it. Pretty useful. So that is something that we'll get. But let's see what we get for this. Advanced pipe upgrades. Great. We're not using those. So what we're going to do at this point is I'm going to cut away. And I'm going to see if I can't figure out the XNet thing and maybe explain it. I know this episode is getting a little bit long, and it's actually starting to storm where I'm at. This episode is getting a little long, so I'm going to see if we can't get this to work, and then we're going to teach the system how to make the rose quartz. And from there, we might go ahead and we'll do some of these easier things. I don't know how bad sturdy sheet is. It requires obsidian dust. Okay, so some of these we can do, but most of them are kind of going to be annoying, and we'll work on them maybe next time. But that is going to be what the plan is. So I'm going to figure out XNet, and then I will bring you guys back in once I have that done. Alright, so this was actually not too bad to figure out, and I did figure out how the thing works. XNet is not actually too difficult. I did look up a tutorial, so I highly suggest that. It does help, but for the basics of what we're doing, so you have all of these things that we can see. So there is the flux point, there is the interface, all of our machines, and then the controller. Basically, extract on the point for energy. That's what channel 1 is. Make sure that the priority for the controller is high, because you want to have energy going there. Everything else can be even. I don't know why Round Robin seems to help with the item extract, which is channel 2. Channel 2 is just items, and they all go into the interface, and that is working just fine. So there's some sand that just went in there. It's smelting up. We'll probably end up making another thing here soon, but we can close this all up, and XNet works just fine. We have the controller for when we add the last 2 machines, and it will be great. So what we're gonna do, there's a bunch of items there. The loot bees are getting ridiculous. So what we're going to do is a couple things. One, we are still making a couple of patterns, but we're going to do a few things. One thing that I want to do is I want to teach the system how to make upgrades. And I don't think that's something that it already knows how to do. No, it does not. So that is processing. I almost want to do some things. So I don't know why those are like that. Basic enriching factor. Yeah, it shouldn't be where it's at, but it is. Let's make sure that it's not like chest. Yeah, I don't know why the crusher is there, but it is. Anyways, we want to have the pattern, and then we're going to teach the system how to make the crafting upgrades, and then we should probably also teach it how to make the crafting tables. And oh, now it's fixed. Weird. Sometimes I think this game is bugged, and it is. So we want to make some crafting upgrades. We're going to want 2 for now, so we're going to get those going. And then we're also going to want enriched carbon, and we're going to want an exporter, which we should probably also go ahead and teach the system how to make. Let's get that. And relatively simple. I think we have all of those because the other item was, yeah. So let's make an exporter as well. And it will finish this stuff soon enough. Machine doesn't accept item. It's because it's doing something else already. And we can even get another tier installer, and this should work just fine if we add a little bit more redstone. But we should actually be fine with that. So basically, what we're doing, what we're working towards, is getting these metallurgic infusers completely full of whatever material we need, and then we can get a lot of stuff. So while we're waiting for that stuff to craft, mechanical harvester, we need andesite alloy, iron, and a casing. So we need another oak log, and that should be it. We can put that down, alloy, and then we should be able to make this thing. Mechanical harvester does exactly what you might think. It lets you harvest crops. You can make big machines per contraptions, kind of like our tunnel bore, but not as cool. So that is just another quest that we can do real quick. Get another steel paxel. Why not? Pipe wrench, we can put that away. So how are we doing on the crafts? Everything is crafted. All right, perfect. So we're going to want to grab our crafting upgrades, both of them. We're going to want the exporter. And this is all we need to do. So we should probably get that tier installer as well. And eventually we can make... I was not in the search bar. Eventually we can make other things that are going to be even better. But for now, this will be good enough. So what we're going to do is we have all of these things are factories except for those two. Don't care about that right now. We can do that later. We're going to get the smelter upgraded to a factory. Always want to make sure auto sort is on so that it distributes. And we're going to put an exporter here. It connects nicely. Export carbon. And that's going to be dumped in there. And then we can put a crafting upgrade. And now, you might have noticed this machine turned on because we are now making the enriched carbon and enriched redstone. And it will continuously do that until these are both full. And so that is just a little bit of automation so that we can always make those. Now let's do one more set of automation, which should be pretty easy. We are going to get rose quartz. So if we want rose quartz, polished rose quartz, we get this, and that goes in the enrichment chamber. We should have some patterns that we can put in there. And then if we want the actual rose quartz, we can do this, and that goes in the other one, the enriching chamber. So, or the metallurgic infusers. So that goes in there, that goes in there. And now we can make a lot of things. So the train casing requires a little bit of lava with a spout. That is something I don't have, but we are going to need for a few things. We should be able to make the empty blaze burner. Let's get rid of this, clear this stuff out. So we should be able to make the empty blaze burner. And this thing, we just have to use right click this on a blaze, and we'll get the blaze. So do we have enough? Oh, we have a common loot crate. We also have a bunch of ender pearls. By the way, XNet controllers you can improve. So they're connectors. There's advanced connectors. They do better stuff. They require an ender pearl and a diamond. Not too difficult. But do we have enough juice in here? No. That should be enough. Essence is 600. Right, we don't have a way to pump that in directly, so we'll have to get a few more Endermen. Something we should probably look into relatively soon is getting mob spawning. There are a couple of ways to do that. We're going to want the mob crusher for now. We might do a mob crusher and then eventually have a general farm. Can you not reach him? Hey, can you get closer to my show working area? I should be able to. Oh, run with redstone. That's the problem. Okay. So they all disappear. Do you have a bucket's worth yet? You do. Perfect. We'll open those loots in just a moment, but let's get a single blaze. And boop, blaze burner. We'll just, oh, that murdered the blaze for me. Thank you. And that's empty now. So we'll turn that off for now. So we have the blaze burner. Like I said, this is used to heat basins and do different things. Will be useful later, but for now, don't really care about it. So just throw all that stuff in there. We do have a place for ender pearls, just making sure. Alright, cool. So the other things that we need to make include, let's go ahead and make that experience pylon. And it's not processed the obsidian. Of course it hasn't. Why would it? It's too busy. Oh, I know the problem. The obsidian is processed, but it's in here because it doesn't have anywhere to go. So we're going to put obsidian here, and now we can do that. So silly me, forgetting to put obsidian in the system. So we'll get the experience pylon, obelisk, whatever. Yes, Ender IO. It is basically the same thing. We'll put this there. We'll store all of our levels for now, and that does give us another. That gets us 5 levels. Perfect. So if we retrieve all of our levels, we're only at level 28. Not quite enough. So I think that is a good point to stop for today. There's a lot of things I still want to do. I want to upgrade our energy cells. I want to work on finishing up the create quest. I think that's what we're going to do next time. We're going to do a combination of those two things. I'm going to continue cleaning up things a little bit and trying to get this base looking a little bit better. One of the big things I'll probably do is make a simple cobbleworks here and then start thinking about getting the crops somewhere over here. And yeah, at that point, big things that we need to work on with just general stuff is we need to set up a place for the energizing orb from power, and that's about it. We're also going to need to make a spout. This is something that we're going to need. That looks really easy to make. Cool. So, that is going to be it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Another little long one, but happens. I'm going to work on getting more stuff taken care of. Probably get rid of some stuff as well. If we had Silk Touch on something, you know, I might put... We do have Silk Touch books. We have multiple of these. And we do have a lot of iron. I should be able to make an anvil. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to make an anvil. Oh, and we're going to open these loot crates. We're going to put an anvil over here. Let's put a torch there. Let's get like 10 levels. And let's put Silk Touch on our Paxel. And then we can pick up this mycelium. Put a torch there. And pick up this grass. This way we don't have to worry about more mob spawning, which is nice. And we can kind of control that. So I am going to put the Mega Torch back down. But yeah, that is going to be it for today's episode. I am going to continue cleaning up the base, like I said, and continue working towards more stuff. I will probably set up some systems. So we'll probably get an export bus to put... we'll figure out something. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to handle getting obsidian right now, but yeah, we're going to clean things up, and in the next episode we're going to finish all of the quests from Create. I'm going to open these before I forget. Nothing that important. And then we will go from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!